Hey guys, Kyle here, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my manga chapter, my episode review for My Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 2. And it was a pretty good episode with a lot of great moments in it. The first note to note is that we got introduced to a lot of new characters in the beginning. And the one thing to note there is the guy who looked like he had insomnia with his purple hair spiked up. The one thing to note about that guy is he said something interesting. He said that the first sports festival is not just not is just not only a chance for heroes to for heroes in training in order to get noticed, but it's also a chance for any of the students in the lower supporting classes in order to move up to the hero class. So, but in the essence for that to happen, someone from the hero class would have to move down. So in move down into the lower supporting classes in order for the supporting class members to move up. So in a way that adds a little bit more of a threat in a way to our main cast. I imagine for the most part that most of them, if not all of them, are gonna end up getting out of this alive. But it'll be interesting to see if any of them actually fail. If someone like Mineta or something like that were to fail. Honestly, I think if anyone's to fail, it would be him because, well, honestly, I honestly question why he's in the hero course to begin with, or how he even got in the hero course. But yeah, no, hey, I guess he's there as comic relief. So I don't think they're really gonna. Since he's the comic relief, I don't think he's gonna get rid of him at all. To be honest with you, but it would be interesting to see if he did get tossed out at some point. But oh well. Um. Um. Also, another thing to note is another thing I really like is how Izuku is being portrayed in this episode because on in the waiting room, he was confronted by Todoroki, who said, "Hey, look, I'm here to win, and I'm gonna beat you. I don't know what your connection to All Might is, and I don't care. I'm just gonna beat you in order to and and you can and it was Izuku's response that really got to me because he said, "Fine, if you're aiming for the top, then I'm aiming for the top too, and I am gonna beat you." So the one thing to take away the one thing I took away from that is that um he Izuku he isn't like in most cases like that. The shonen protagonist would have just said, "Hey, look, we don't have to fight. We can go ahead and talk this out." But in that case, it was like no. If you're aiming for the top, I'm gonna aim for the top too, and I will beat you. So in essence, I like it because it wasn't the traditional. It wasn't using the traditional talk the whole talking out method that most shonen have. It was actually showing us that our hero can is just determined to fight as everyone else there. So yeah, it was just a really nice. It was really nice to see that because most shonen protagonists I have seen in the past do have the knack for using the old talk no jutsu, as it's usually called nowadays, like certain ones call it Naruto. But yeah, it was really great. It was great to see that. Great to see that in a shonen main character. To be honest with you, I just liked that a lot. And it was also great development for Izuku as a whole because he was in even before this he was having doubts about his ability to really even showcase himself, and just remembering the determination that both Ida and Ochiko had portrayed, it actually gave him the clarity to say, okay, yeah, I need to do this too. I need to make myself known here too. I can't. I have to stick to my motivations, stick to my convictions, and I gotta go move forward. So yeah, it was just great overall for Izuku in order to see him do this. Um, and one other thing, and one thing, and it was actually kind of interesting in a way to see when the whole sports festival finally got started, it was interesting to note that whole entranceway was actually a test in itself in order to see how many students could actually get a lead over the other because they were all cramped into that one space, and it was a test in order to see in a test of their quirks to see which one could of course could get out of that space the fastest. And it was interesting to see a couple of students who aren't really even the main characters get out. Like we saw Yao Yorozu get out. We saw I think it was we saw Yao Yorozu get out. We saw, of course, we saw, of course, it was Todoroki also get out, but he was the first one to get out. Yeah, but it was just great to see all that focus going to some of the other secondary characters because that's yeah, it's just great to see the secondary characters get their spotlight. Um, one other thing, well, one last thing I want to talk about is about Mr. is about Toad Todoroki himself. Now, in the latter parts of the episode, he took out one of those giant robots with his ice powers, and it's what he said after that really caught my eye. He said, "Sorry, I can't fall behind, especially with the fact that my dear old dad is watching." And it wasn't necessarily in the way he it wasn't what he said that caught my eye. It was the way he said it, because it was the way that he was talking, that Todoroki was talking about his old man, that you can tell there was a hint of malice and contempt in his voice, like almost like he and his dad don't necessarily get along. So you can obviously tell just from the way he was talking about his dad in that respect that there is a bit of a history there, and obviously obviously it's probably a hatred that it's probably the reason why we haven't seen, like, in the beginning we were introduced to Todoroki having this hot and cold side, but right now we've only seen Todoroki use the cold side of his powers. So I imagine his part of the reason why he hasn't used his hot powers yet is probably because of his father. But as to what extent, as to why he won't use those hot powers because of his father, I assume we're actually going to get in this one. But yeah, it should be interesting to see as when the time when the episode finally comes, as to when we get the full backstory as to what's happening between father and son in that respect. It should be an interesting episode for sure in order to see. But yeah, guys, it was a really good episode. It was actually, this episode was a little sluggish, but like I said, this episode was actually a little sluggish. I'm not gonna lie, but it was a good episode for what it was, and yeah, we, like I said, we've got a lot of great bits in this episode, but it does make me interested to know when we're gonna, like, when we get the higher stuff, but more action packed stuff. I think that's when the episode is really gonna, when the adaptation is really gonna pick up. But yeah, guys, that's my review for My Hero Academia, Book of My Hero Academia season 2, episode 2. A great episode, and can't wait for the next one. Death Knight of Anime signing off. Later, guys.